We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
The disastrous rise of misplaced power exists.
All we have built, all we have worked for, would be destroyed.
There is nothing the political establishment will not do.
And this nation will not be fully free until all its citizens are free.
Our arms must be mighty, ready for instant action,
These criminals cannot be rewarded.
so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction.
There is a point beyond which they must not advance.
They're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way. Here I am.
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny.
The cost of freedom is always high.
Those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers.
This is a crusade! This is a holy war against the deep state!
We never wanted to be right, but yet things are all adding up to the firestorm.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Wherever you are in the world, my name is Josh. Welcome to the Red Pill Project's Daily Dose. We are live with you Monday through Thursday, approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is where we bring you the unfolding global conspiracy. And God bless Donald Trump. Absolutely. God bless Donald Trump. And I'm waiting for a guest to join us. I'm waiting for GameTech. He should be coming on here soon. I just talked to him a few hours ago. So hopefully he joins us. If he does, we're going to jump right into that. We got a lot of things, him and I, to talk about. But let's just jump in right now to Joe Biden. I don't know if anybody caught this. I caught it. I posted it on my Twitter live during the damn thing. People were catching it, but they didn't catch this one. TikTok, TikTok. Guys, Joe Biden wasn't live. Joe Biden was recorded. He recorded this. Who knows when? Maybe not even today. Check this out. Joe, I gotta initiate that. Boom, there it is. Okay. Look at this. Joe Biden, right here, live from the White House. His watch is in clear view. What kind of watch does Joe Biden have? He has a Rolex. There it is, right there. Oh, okay. Well, what does it say? I don't know about you, but that looks about 3:37. About 3:37 there. And if that's upside down, it's a little different, right? That'd be about 7:10, which is an hour later. So either way, Joe Biden goes and addresses the nation today. I don't know about you, but something's up with Joe Biden. There's something seriously wrong with all of this the last few days. You're seeing it. I'm seeing it. We talked about it. I think did we talk about it last night? We talked about it last night that Joe Biden is wearing a mask. That Joe Biden is wearing a mask. I never thought I'd be the one to say anything like that. I'm not the clone type of person. I'm not Joe Biden's wearing a mask type of person. But I think it's incredibly plausible. I'm going to play Ian Carroll's video on this. I posted this last night on my TikTok, and this is pretty damn good. I don't think we watched this yet. We didn't watch this on our show last night. So I'm going to, whoop, that's not the right link. There it is. Okay. So I posted this on, did I say TikTok? Twitter last night. What are the odds that the rumors were actually true? Joe Biden is on his deathbed in hospice care. But what we witnessed today was the ultimate psyop. That's why yesterday was Welcome to the Psy War. As I pointed out in my show, something was off with these videos of Joe Biden. His skin was colored, not pale like we've seen. He walked up the stairs easily. A video from a few hours or so earlier showed Joe Biden being helped into the car by Secret Service. Weak, frail, and pale-faced. He gets off of Air Force One and magically has a tan, can walk upstairs and look semi-vibrant? Something is off with all of this. Today, the White House chief doctor said that Joe Biden is COVID-free, no symptoms. We know that the audio recording from the other day was AI generated. Why? If Joe Biden is well and healthy, then why would they use AI generated clip? Why didn't he sign his own letter? Why did he delegate powers yesterday? Most likely because the rumors are true. Joe is probably in hospice. What we saw coming off of Air Force One was an actor with a mask, hence why not many words were spoken. Pay attention tomorrow. We could witness a major glitch during this address to the nation. And videos are already starting to roll out. But listen to Ian and what he has to say here. This is some great digging, and the way he puts this together is beautiful. Listen to this.
You guys ready for another wild conspiracy? This is one of those ones that just can't be true, but it's obviously true. So this one's inspired by Joe Biden being missing for 5 days, resigning from his campaign through a X post that was not on stationery and with a weird signature. No one really knows what's going on there. Dig into it for yourself. And then he appears, first public appearance in a while. He's apparently not sick anymore. He's looking great. And everyone's commenting on how his back looks hunched. He looks like he's really sick or something, but I was noticing something really different. See if you can notice what I'm noticing here in just a second. All right, he's walking up the stairs. All right, he's walking up the stairs. He's charging. And now listen, I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying this is a thing in the real world that you should be aware of as you watch what's going on today and making your own assessments about reality. The CIA has been using Mission Impossible skin masks on your face for 40 years. Tony Mendez is famous for pioneering that work. This is from Legacy of Ashes, one of the best sourced histories of the CIA ever written. Here's another one from Surprise to Kill Vanish, written by Annie Jacobson. This is a direct accounting from Billy Waff, a Special Forces / CIA operative that was wearing a Dinka disguise back in '89 to disguise himself as an African dude. He talked about how his mask didn't fit very well back in '89. If you haven't already seen the footage of the CIA's ex-disguise chief talking on TED Talk stages and stuff about when she briefed President H.W. Bush in the White House Oval Office wearing one of these disguises and he didn't realize it, I got some news for you.
The office I worked in was like the Q in James Bond. One that has to stand out. I went to the White House and I briefed George H.W. Bush, the president at the time, while I was wearing a full face mask. So we're sitting this close together and I'm telling him that I'm going to show him the best disguise that we have. And he's looking for a bag, where is it? I said, well, I'm wearing it and I'm going to take it off. My husband was Tony Mendez. And he was played by Ben Affleck in the movie called Argo.
Aliens and robots? Yes, sir. You're telling me that there is a movie company in Hollywood right now that is funded by the CIA? Yes, sir.
Are there many actors in Hollywood who also moonlight as agents, do you think?
I think there are probably quite a few, yes. I think probably Hollywood is full of CIA agents, and we just don't know it. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to discover that, this was extremely common.
They didn't mention it in the movie, but Tony had deep connections to Hollywood, to the tradespeople out in LA that did a lot of things we were interested in doing. Well, LA did have some ideas, of course. That's what they do for a living. They introduced us to a new concept. They said, what you are calling an operation, we call a performance. That's what we do. We put on performances. And before we start working on that performance, we have to define the stage that the performance is going to take place on. Then you have to know who your audience is. Who are you playing to? Who are you trying to fool? Then they showed us some tools that they used. The one that really caught our eye is what's called a stunt double mask. You all know how they're used. When the movie star is so famous or so good looking that they can't risk damaging him. We liked the idea of stunt double masks. They're quick on, they're quick off. They dramatically change your appearance. And we started using them and found them to be valuable to our operations. But that audience piece of it did not allow you to get close enough to one of those masks before the illusion fell apart and you saw it was a mask. So we went back to our disguise labs out at Langley and we invented a whole new genre of masks. Masks that are so good, that are so realistic, that you can actually get up close and have a personal contact with someone for an extended period of time. They're good enough that you can brief the President of the United States in the Oval Office wearing a mask. And he isn't sure if it's you or if it's someone else. Those masks were the beginning of a whole new generation of work that we did at the CIA. Once we could make these masks that fit you so well, then we discovered we could make a twin. We could make another you. There could be two of you. We could actually make 5 or 6 of you, but usually one extra was all we needed.
So again, I'm not making any claims that like one thing is real or one thing is not real. I'm just saying that those things exist and they can be used in the world today by intelligence agencies or anyone else that has access to that technology. So just factor that into your equations when you're thinking like, what is the most likely possibility here? Is what I'm being told by the mainstream outlets likely or even possible at all? Or are there other possibilities that may be unlikely, but perhaps are more likely than whatever the hell is happening on your TV?
Voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day.
It's neutral.
I knew you were still there.
The fuck was that? I mean, just like Occam's razor, right?
All right. So, as you see, it is incredibly possible and plausible. Was the Joe Biden that we just watched on video live not really Joe Biden? I am more so now believing that that is true. And to back me up on this shit, Game Tech, what's up, buddy? How we doing?
Hey, what's going on, guy?
Man, you sound great. Best audio I've ever heard from you.
Yeah, it's I had some connection issues, man. It wouldn't allow me to even go to a website, you know. I was like completely dead for about a half hour. I was getting panicked. Finally, I could message you on X, and once I did that, I took and restarted my phone and then popped right back in. So awesome. I apologize for my delay.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I just played with everything till you got here, so we're good. Well, you know, Game Tech, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of things going on, a lot of things that you and I talked about a year ago. A lot of things that we've been saying were going to happen are happening, specifically Joe Biden being replaced. You and I have been talking about that forever, and it literally just happened. It was an internal coup, but I think that there's more details of what happened. This last week, there was some information coming about, and I kind of got the same information. Joe Biden in hospice care on his deathbed. I said months ago that Joe Biden is going to pass away in office between August and September. I still hold that to be true. I mean, that's going to happen. Joe Biden's a liability, not only a liability, he just screwed over Barack Obama and a lot of the deep staters. So they want him gone. They're going to install Kami Kamala in the presidency just for just a short time. But the hospice care aspect of this, Laura Loomer, you, me, many other people were saying this. Then Joe Biden shows up yesterday. But there's problems. He does this audio recording at Kamala's rally, and it's 98% guaranteed to be AI generated. We see Joe Biden getting into a vehicle, being helped in the vehicle by Secret Service. He's pale white. He is fragile. An hour later, he's stepping onto Air Force One. He's vibrant, tan, doesn't say many words. I'm like, that guy is not Joe Biden, most likely wearing a mask. Same thing with walking into the White House. Dan Scavino posted a screenshot or just a picture of Joe Biden getting out of a SUV walking into the White House. And Dan Scavino said, why didn't Joe Biden take Marine One? And that's a really good question. Then today, we see Joe Biden's live performance. Obviously, he has makeup on, but still, Joe Biden's live performance where he's reading off the teleprompter, coherent for a little bit. But I don't think that this is Joe Biden. There's something wrong with this situation. What are your thoughts on everything that we've seen with just that aspect? And then we'll get into the shooter, the attempted assassination, which you and I talked about as well. But let's talk about this first.
Well, so I saw Laura Loomer's report, yesterday, a day and a half ago, 2 days ago, somewhere around there. And I was kind of curious because she said that he was terminally ill. So I just wanted to, check with some sources in DC to see if there was anything that they could add to that. And I'll let you know which it was a congressional aide that basically told me this information. So I'll give you guys the area of where my source is. Won't let you know who it is, but they basically said the same thing that Laura was touting, and so they told me, though, they had some additional information that that Biden, if he does not get better, they were pumping him full of drugs. The day that I spoke with this source, they were pumping him full of drugs to see if he could make a quick recovery, and he was doing exceptionally better. I can report that, but if he ended up turning for the worse, then by this weekend or maybe the following weekend, they would be putting him in hospice. I seen that when I took and reported that, it kind of other people started reporting the same thing. I think Global Press News or Corp or something, some other account that I'm not really familiar with. He posted later, about 10 hours later, that Biden was going into hospice that night. Well, I honestly think that was incorrect. I think that there was nothing to suggest that Biden was going into hospice, unless things happen. I was really confused by it because of the language and the things that was being said to me, because they were telling me that there could, it could take weeks for this hospice conversation to actually happen.
Just getting into the car there.
So yeah, I do stick by with that reporting. I do believe Laura Loomer, now that I've confirmed everything. And not only that, Josh, but if you listen to, if you read the statements made by Joe Biden's brother, he says that basically, I'm going to enjoy the time that we have left with him. So yeah, I do think that he is terminally ill. I think that he is in stage 4 of Alzheimer's. And I think, honestly, what people need to understand, because I've been preaching what Ian has been saying, that video with Ian.
Yeah.
I've been preaching the same exact thing for many days now. That I know it's out of the ordinary for us mentally to prepare ourselves mentally, that we have presidents that uses body doubles, doppelgangers, or we have people that use masks that are designed to protect our Secretary of State. You know, Blinken has them, President Biden has them, Kamala Harris has them. We have also body doubles, and it shouldn't shock everybody that we use those for national security reasons. All the world leaders around the world, everybody from Putin to Kim Jong-un, has body double. They have people to go to meetings even. So this shouldn't be any shock towards anybody that what we saw yesterday is very likely. I'm not going to say possible. I'm saying very likely that it was a body double. Because we just need to use our common sense, Josh. The Biden looked like a 50-year-old man yesterday.
Yeah, striding up those stairs.
Yeah, it not for a person who's 80 years old that just now recovered from COVID.
Right, and I want you to check this out. This is that video that I'm talking about here. This is Joe Biden getting into the vehicle on his way to Air Force One. Okay, now what people will see here if they look closely is Secret Service is helping Joe and buckling him in. You can kind of see it through the window right here. You're going to see Joe come into focus a little bit more. He's inching his way over. You got Secret Service giving him a boost, helping him out. And the news broadcast, reporters that are watching this are saying, well, he's got COVID, right? Well, no, the doctor actually cleared him yesterday of all COVID symptoms. And look at him. He looks lost. He looks pale. Doesn't know what's going on. This is yesterday, right before he gets on Air Force One. Then we see him stroll out of the car with sunglasses on. No hat, by the way. No hat. Sunglasses on. No hat. And strolls right to Air Force One. Well, that's an interesting take, too. He didn't have a suit on in this video. This is yesterday on his way to Air Force One. And he has no suit on. No, but he has a hat on. And then he gets off and he has a suit. He gets out of the car and he has a suit and sunglasses on. Interesting. I think it was absolutely a body double. 100%. I don't think Joe Biden's in a good place. And if he did that live tonight, they pumped him up with tranquilizers as much as they possibly could to get him coherent one last time.
I have not looked at the video from today, but I just don't believe that he is capable of doing any sort of speaking right now. From the source from DC, all the other reports, Laura Loomer, his family saying what they said. I just don't see Biden doing anything as of right now when it comes to his role as president. I think that this is a dangerous time. I mean, we have a president that's incapacitated, and our enemies are going to take advantage of that. And I don't think that the American public, they should be demanding some answers right now. We shouldn't be an idle over this. This is kind of dangerous.
Well, and here's the thing is people are demanding it, even Congress. I mean, you had Lauren Boebert asking for proof of life the other day. Thomas Massey's out there saying they just cooed Joe Biden. We're going to investigate this. I'm actually pretty impressed with Congress the last few days. Not saying I'm happy with them, but I'm pretty impressed because we have bipartisan support that is investigating Trump's assassination attempt. And none of them are taking the bullshit. They're all looking at this like this was an inside job. Like they understand that this was an inside job. So that's kind of interesting. But then they're also calling out Joe Biden of what just happened with the DNC, of how the deep state on that side just cooed Joe Biden and pushed him out of the way to get another candidate in. But it wasn't supposed to be Kamala Harris. We could talk about that. But let me see if I can find. So it was a 17-minute address that he did. But I want you to see how vibrant Joe Biden was during this address. Let me see if I can find some video here. My computer doesn't work the way it used to work.
It's controlled by CrowdStrike.
It probably is exactly that. For some reason, this thing will not load. Let me see if I can go into here. There we go.
Because we are good people.
Look at this.
When you elected me to this office, I promised to always level with you, to tell you the truth. And the truth, the sacred cause of this country, is larger than any one of us. And those of us who cherish that cause, cherish it so much. A cause of American democracy itself must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor.
So, obviously, whoever that is reading from a teleprompter. But look how he looks thin. He looks healthy. He looks vibrant. There's no way that's Joe Biden. That's not the same Joe Biden we saw at the debate the other night.
And if he looked that way right now, why in the heck would and he feels that way? He feels great. Why would he be dropping out?
Exactly. So I think there's been a little swapperoo. I don't know if he's dead or not, but they're going to kill him in office. He's going to die in office. He is going to pass away in the next 30 to 60 days. I've called it. I've been saying this for months. I've been saying it for a long time because, you know, think about it, Game Tech. We have the death of the Democratic Party right now. This is turning into a bigger scandal than anything. They just cooed Joe Biden. Kami Kamala comes out. That's not who they wanted, but this is who they're going to get because that's who Joe endorsed. That's not who they wanted Joe to endorse. Nobody. We got Joe Biden dropping out of the race 4 months before the election. That's horrible for the Democrats. Kami Kamala was doing the worst poll numbers in the world. Now we're seeing the skewing, the bias of the polls coming out. But still, we're watching the systematic death of the Democratic Party. They need a national event to take place to bring everybody together. Like mourning, like national mourning. Well, Black Swan or President Joe Biden has passed away in office. Now you have a national funeral. Nobody's going to investigate a dead guy. Nobody's going to investigate a dead guy's family. Kami Kamala takes to 47. Now they can kind of do the DNC a lot easier. There's sympathy by the nation towards Joe Biden, towards the Democrats. The rhetoric towards Joe Biden has to stop from Congress all the way down. Everybody forgets everything else that's already happened. This is how they skew with their psychological warfare tactics, the narrative, and they need an event that large. And I say this, and I know it's hard for people to understand where I'm trying to rationalize this. But Game Tech, they tried to assassinate Donald Trump. And I want people out there, again, to rationalize this. That somebody in the establishment, the deep state, they came down and said, we're getting our asses kicked so bad. We can't stop Donald Trump. Take him out. Take out Donald Trump. Because they looked at civil war. They looked at social unrest as a better option than the election actually going forward. And this premises is off of they will scorch the earth before they ever give up control, what I've been saying. But most importantly is that decision was made. That right now we are in an alternate timeline. We are supposed to be in full-blown martial law and civil war right now as social unrest because Donald Trump is assassinated. That's the timeline that we should be in right now. And it's not.
Absolutely. And that was a great little saying, you know, that they would rather have a full-blown, you know, civil war. Than to have Donald Trump as president. But here's the thing is, Josh, they planned all of this. This wasn't something that was organic. If you go back to my tweets last year, I ended up getting information that the Biden family met around September of last year, and they were meeting in Delaware. They were flying in. Hunter, all of them, all the kids, and some of the grandkids were there, and they were told about Biden's diagnosis. At the time last year, he had between stage 2 and stage 3 Alzheimer's MCI. I'm guessing I don't know anything about medical stuff, so bear with me. But they told the family that there was going to be a possibility that Biden could drop out. They were hoping, they were remaining hopeful that he could at least make it until the next election, and then that's when they would install, Kamala. However, that you're absolutely correct. They did not want Kamala. Biden does not like Kamala. The whole entire camp, they wanted Gavin Newsom. And if you look back last year, you could see that Gavin Newsom was at the White House frequently, and so they were kind of trying to coordinate with Gavin Newsom and Kamala at the same time to do like some sort of transition after Super Tuesday, after Biden ended up getting most of the delegates. So this was all planned, but the thing of it was that the timing was a little bit off because he ended up getting stage 3 in May of this year, and now his health is deteriorating even worse. But the whole plan was to get Newsom in there somehow. I don't have the ins and outs of the complete plan, but we're seeing all of that into fruition right now, and they just it happens so swiftly that they're in sort of like a disarray. They don't know how to, fool the public very well. Thankfully, we have people like you. We have people on. We have social media today that are calling their bullshit, and that's why, they're not the plan hasn't been as effective as they would want it.
Well, absolutely. And I think that there's a few other things that happened this last few weeks. So I've been talking about this on my shows. Is number one, you had certain factions of globalists capitulate to Donald Trump after he survived the attempted assassination attempt, which means if they capitulated to Donald Trump, they left the power base of the deep state, of the Democrats. Firstly, Barack Obama and Joe Biden do not like each other. Joe Biden, he blackmailed Obama for the first 2 terms. And now Obama has been basically utilizing Joe Biden this last term to be kind of the third term president as the head of the deep state. And he's not a very smart guy. But from what we got is last week, it was Joe Biden will step down on Sunday and will not endorse Kamala Harris. But I said that this is going to be wrong. There's something else going on here. Now, follow me here because this is where it gets really interesting. And I don't know if you've heard, I don't think anybody's really heard this because I don't get much traction on Twitter. But I want you to check this out. July 17th, 2024. This is before any announcements, before that global news put out anything about anybody leaving, Joe Biden leaving the campaign, okay? Trump campaign response to vice presidential debates. We don't know who the Democratic nominee for vice president is going to be, so we can't lock in a date before their convention. To do so would be unfair to Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Gretchen Whitmer, or whoever Kamala Harris picks as her running mate. This is before Joe dropped out. And the Trump campaign is foreshadowing. Well, what else happened on that day, July 17th? The day before is when RFK Jr. leaked a video accidentally, according his son accidentally leaked it. A videographer videotaped it. His son accidentally leaked it, where Donald Trump says that he talked to Joe Biden after he got shot. Joe Biden called Donald Trump after he got shot. What? These two don't like each other. They're not on talking terms. They don't talk the shoot shit. And Donald Trump said Joe was really cool. We had a good conversation. Well, that's interesting. I remember on January 20th, 2020, Joe Biden was doing a news report, and somebody asked Joe Biden, it's very formal for outgoing presidents to leave something for the incoming president. And did Donald Trump leave you a letter? He goes, yes, he left me a very generous letter. Generous. What we got during that time on this show, what we talked about and what I had from a few sources was inside that letter. It was, Joe, they're going to try to 25th Amendment you. And when they do, give me a call. We'll work out a deal. So the last week and a half, Jill Biden has been trying to break deals, to bust a deal for her family, for everything that's going on. Obama isn't playing that game with them. He just wanted Biden to step down so they can install their own puppet. So what happens? Trump gets shot. They miss. Jill and Joe call Trump. They make a fucking deal. The deal is Joe drops out on Sunday, endorses Kamala Harris, because that throws a monkey wrench into the whole Obama Democrat deep state plan, because now they can't have an open convention. Now they can't have the delegates freely elect Gavin Newsom, HRC, whoever it might be. Now they have to deal with Kamala, who is polling horribly against Donald Trump. That was what just happened. So Trump, trolling them, sent that out a week before Joe Biden steps down. But it's my belief that everybody knows Joe's done. Everybody knows Joe's going to pass away. He endorsed Kamala Harris not because Obama or the deep state told him to, but because Trump told him to. Trump asked him to, so they could cut a deal with Trump. Guaranteed. And look what's happening right now. All the mainstream media, the skews, the polls are all being skewed. They're all pumping up the fucking polls with bullshit and garbage. Oh, Kamala is leading finally over Donald Trump by 2 points, 3 points. It's all lies. It's all bullshit. The same thing they did with HRC. But this one is even worse. They cannot win with her.
It also, with the deal that Trump made with Biden, it also kind of gets the country back on track of normalcy. It allows, just like Gerald Ford did with Nixon, even though Nixon really, didn't do anything. I know that history is muddied there because they want to basically teach us that Nixon was this horrible guy. He wasn't. But how Ford pardoned him and it kind of allowed the country to get back on track. And I think that Trump is trying to mentally get us back on track, and I think that now I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pardon him. I think that the Bidens were involved in some sinister things with COVID from 2014, but I think that this is what Trump thinks is best, and
I don't know if it's going to be a pardon. I don't know if it's going to be a pardon, but I think that
I think it will be.
I think it would be too, that Joe gets the pardon, but we'll see what happens. But I'm telling you right now, Jill Biden made a deal with Trump. That's why Biden endorsed Kamala on Sunday. We know it was Jill and his campaign director that signed the letter, that wrote the letter. But that went against Obama. That's go ahead.
The reason why I think that Biden will get a pardon is just because Trump has an excuse to pardon him, and that would be the dementia. And I think that would try. He will also use that narrative as to heal the country because of what's to come. The Ivan Raikin situation is really, I'm shocked. I know that there's reporters out there that are taking him serious. If you can go and look at some of the videos that he posted, these reporters aren't sitting there they wouldn't waste their time if nothing what Ivan was saying wasn't a little bit true. You understand? So this whole thing with a lot of mass arrests with these political figures, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well, and Ivan, for everybody out there who's wondering what Ivan Raiklin is doing, former Green Beret, he's rallying up county sheriffs in the sense of legality, county sheriffs would have geographic jurisdiction to where if these people are actually living in a certain area or their home state is a certain place, those people have to have jurisdictional authority to basically impose charges on them through those local district attorneys, as well as arrest these people for treason through those areas. And he's calling for all of them to come together, which is a brilliant plan.
And it gets rid of the feds. It gets rid of the FBI coordination. It doesn't allow the FBI to get involved, which is a good thing because of the swamp and the level of corruption. So if we can't do it, if we can't trust the feds to do it, have the states do it.
Now, over the past few weeks as well, we've seen a lot of hints towards what I call the boards, the CUE boards, right? The QUE, CUE boards. There was one that happened today that I want to bring to the audience's attention. And it's actually the name of the show, The Fall of the Old Guard. So General Michael Flynn today on Twitter, in response to the flags being burned and replaced in Washington, D.C., he responded, "Is the old guard ready?" Now, this is really interesting because he posted this on July 24th. July 24th, 2018, post 1690. "You are witnessing and watching the systematic destruction of the old guard. Power will return to the people." There's no coincidences that he hits this right on the nail with a 6-year delta from the boards. Trump, at the end of the RNC, played Nessun Dorma, which is directly in reference to the boards. In the boards, what the boards talk about. Sum of all fears. Elon, just the other day, he posted, what was his name? From Godfather 2. Frodo's last boat trip, right? They take him out and they said they're going to take Joe Biden out on a fishing trip. That means that they're going to kill Joe Biden off. And he did that on the exact timestamp that relates directly to a board post that is talking about the movie The Godfather. Those aren't coincidences. That is hidden messaging or maybe subconscious messaging that is coming out, showing us what is going on. Now, the attempted Trump assassination stuff, this is getting crazy. So now we're finding out, and Congress and Senate are even looking at this, GameTech, that people were detained and arrested prior to Trump coming on stage. Did you know this?
I did not. No.
Well, there's no record of it, but we have video of it. And witnesses at the event saw this, that this gentleman was detained at the rally. So if this dude's detained at the rally, and then all of a sudden Donald Trump has an attempted assassination attempt on his life, don't we think that that's a little important? Now, not only is it interesting
about Thomas Crooks being detained.
No, we're talking about someone completely different. We're talking about Kenan Hopper. So this is where this starts to get blown up, okay? This dude was detained at the rally, okay? People are starting to videotape him and everything like that, and he's pulled into this tent. And it looks like he got beat up a little bit. There must have been a fight, okay? Who is that guy? That is Kenan Hopper right here, who was with Maxwell Urich in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with Antifa. These two are a duo. Maxwell Urich is the one that people are saying are actually in this photograph who got shot and killed. Because it looks nothing like Crooks. Looks absolutely like Urich. There is a cover-up going on right now. And people were saying that Urich was the original shooter. And then, no, it was Crooks. But now we find out that this other Antifa dude who's buddies with Urich was at the event and got arrested at the event. Like, the fuck is going on here?
Josh, I ended up getting information a few days ago, and I just want to point this out to your audience that there's really, it's very limited information, because I mean, with an operation like this, you talk, you die. Period.
Right.
You talk, you die. It's
Sheila
not
Jackson Lee.
this isn't some sort of whistleblower situation, you know. Bongino's begging the whistleblower to come forward. He's begging some of these individuals to come forward. He has names. It's not going to go well for him if they do not come forward. However, I believe that they've been so the stuff that Dan Bongino is talking about, that's kind of where the area I wanted to go into. You gotta really ask the right questions and go to the right people. And I think that I did that. And here's what I just want you guys to put this in the back of your mind for later, in case it is absolutely true, which would shock me. Doug Mills, Will Hurd, and Peter Thiel. I want you guys to remember those three names. And I want you to remember them because, you know, I'm on top of things. I don't sit there and just, you know, come out with something that is rumor mill. This is really serious. And I went to some of the Dan Bongino sources, and I'm telling you, there's something to Doug Mills, Will Hurd, and Peter Thiel. Now, what was told to me was that Will Hurd and Doug Mills, there's records of conversations, and there's evidence of this. There's actual evidence of this. A week prior to the assassination attempt. Now, Doug Mills and Will Hurd, I've been trying to see if there's ever a connection with them. I haven't. Also, Will Hurd and Peter Thiel was talking around the same exact time, minutes late, like after the phone call was over. It was Will Hurd and Peter Thiel talking. Now, if you guys know who William Hurd is, he is a shadow figure within the CIA. He's sort of the guy that writes up the narratives for coups, for assassination attempts, for for the Eastern Europe and the Middle East. He's been active in the CIA for a long time. He was a Congress member as well, and he ran against Trump. He is a neocon sort of guy that ran for president, and he's also a member of the CFR group, Council of Foreign Relations, and just not a good individual. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. I really don't have much information about it, but I do know that there are individuals that think that those three people are going to come into play.
Well, Peter Thiel's already came into play. So J.D. Vance is Peter Thiel's former business partner.
Yeah, Peter Thiel ended up funding J.D. Vance's Senate campaign completely.
That's right.
I believe
Peter Thiel was also on Trump's original tech transition team in 2016, along with Elon Musk. Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are the PayPal mafia. Peter Thiel is co-founder of Palantir, which is the defense and intelligence community, artificial intelligence, which I did a show on with a few other people a few years back. And the technology that they've developed is quite freaking interesting. What they've done is they've aggregated in the machine learning and artificial intelligence 20 years worth of news information and data, including profile information, behavioral information, geographic information, all of your cell phone raw data into an AI, 20 years worth, to basically produce predictive analytics software to predict what's going to happen the next week, the next month, the next 3 months, the next year. and they have a high level of accuracy of that prediction. And it's used by our intelligence community. It's used by the DOD, and that's through Palantir, Peter Thiel's company. Peter Thiel, though, is a staunch conservative. He pulled his support away from Donald Trump after the second impeachment, but now he has backed him. And not only that, is he's brought in Mark Andreessen. Mark Andreessen is the top venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. His wife actually owns, the Welch family owns the Silicon Valley, the land. And Mark Andreessen is probably the most powerful man in the Silicon Valley. So when we say that factions capitulated, they absolutely did capitulate. But Peter Thiel is also on the planning commission of the Bilderberg Group. So we have to look at this from the globalist perspective. I know who Will Hurd is, and I don't know how he fits into the assassination attempt. But I don't know maybe where that connection to Peter Thiel would be, unless there was some type of technology used, which is a good possibility. There was some technology used. Did you hear that there was a UFO sighting at the Trump rally?
Well, you know that I did. I follow up on that stuff.
And did you know that it happened to be 5 seconds before the first shot was fired?
Well, I didn't know the timing. But I seen the video, and it's pretty wild. I'm shocked that the mainstream media didn't use that as a distraction. You know, that would have been a perfect distraction to Trump's to the event. Trump.
Yeah, it's interesting because the American flag folds up into the angel body that we see, and at the same time, that that's a drone. You are slowed down right here to about 100 frames a second. That thing is going 1,000 miles per hour. It was not seen by people's eyes. What the hell is that?
And it wasn't an insect, because it didn't come in front of the flag. So, you know, that's I'm telling you, man, we're getting close to a mass sighting where people just can't, you know, deny their own eyes and ears, and
well, there's just that one. There was the two suns in Alberta, and then there was just one that we just saw, a little while ago. It was posted today. I think you actually reposted it.
Yeah.
Did you post one today?
That one is a wild one. That one, you know, is there's absolutely no CGI involved. And that's a pretty daggone good video. I was just talking to a UFO investigator today. They called me to interview me about my reporting last year. And we discussed some interesting stuff, and I want the audience to know. Can I tell a story real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
About Logan Paul. I know that I probably mentioned this to you, and probably mentioned to you and on your show prior, but I want to mention it again because Logan Paul has a video of a real UFO.
Mm-hmm.
Like legitimate, real, 100% true video of UFO. And what took place was Logan Paul ended up finding out about this guy that has a old VHS tape of a UFO that was filmed by two guys that had a old VHS camcorder in their car, and this UFO appeared right in front of them while they were driving. They stopped the car, and they ended up taking and getting their VHS camcorder out and recording it from about 20 to 30 feet away. And when Logan Paul tried to buy this video for $100,000, the guy that owns the told them absolutely not. This video is not for sale. Well, Logan Paul was wearing hidden cameras everywhere. His whole entourage that went there to watch this video at this guy's house they were wearing cameras. So they've got like, 4 different camera angles. And they ended up recording, Logan Paul was like, can you rewind that? Can we watch that again? He did that like 3 or 4 times. So they ended up getting a really, really good footage of this UFO. And I think that might come into play here pretty soon. I just wanted to let the audience know that.
Well, I'm headed to Missouri for a camping trip tomorrow in the back country. And we're gonna watch some UFOs. We're gonna film some UFOs. So I'll make sure that we get the footage over to you. And if you're anywhere near Missouri, Game Tech, you're gonna come over.
That would be awesome. We're at Missouri.
We're on the other St. Louis, so it's just south of St. Louis.
Well, I know the Moberly, Columbus area or Columbia area. I know that area pretty well. Moberly, Missouri.
This is gonna be in Eureka, and I know you're probably, I'm not gonna say where you are in the world, but I know that there's probably some maybe less than 5 hours between you and that camping trip. So I'll hit you up with that information after. But let's watch this video real quick. This is the one that Game Tech posted, and this is incredibly legitimate. Don't worry about the lights. Those are actually reflections in his window as he's watching this.
All right. Whoa, look at those guys. What in the fuck? Oh my God. Holy shit, dude. Oh my God. Dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh my God. Dude. I need to get my other camera. All right. Holy shit, dude. All right. We're getting the other camera. Hold on 1 second. Holy shit. All right. Fuck. All right, we're going to try and place this.
Now, game, I don't know about you, but I don't know where this was taking place, but looking at the scenery that we see, the clarity of the skies, I'm going to say that this is somewhere in southwest Utah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because those objects are most likely not extraterrestrial. Those objects are probably ours. And there is a massive flying ground for them in southwest Utah. I'm not going to give locations. It's not where people think it is, but it's down there. But yeah, that guy obviously had tons of camera equipment on him, so he knew that they were going to be there that night, which is interesting. But you're right. We're about to see tons of stuff like that more and more prevalent. Mass sightings of epic proportions is going to happen sometime very soon, potentially before the election. I'm thinking around October timeframe.
October 18th is what my sources are saying is going to, they're going to have some sort of big revelation. What that is, I don't know. But it's so important that the Vatican basically went to our IC, our intelligence community, and briefed them about it. So
October surprise.
Absolutely.
And if we think about it, President Trump in 2020, if people don't know this story, Jaime Hashem, the former director of space intelligence for the Israeli Defense Force, IDF, he's basically he was the head of the NRO here in the United States. He's old and retired, but he had got information from the back channels that Donald Trump had met with what was called the Galactic Federation. This is legit news. People can look this up. When Donald Trump had COVID, from what we got is he didn't have COVID and he wasn't at Walter Reed. Firstly, I don't know. I'm Game Tech. I've been to Walter Reed. I know you probably have too. That room is not in the officers' chambers over at Walter Reed. I've never seen anything like that. That room looked more like something on a boat, a ship, a captain's den on a ship or something like that when Donald Trump had COVID. either way, from what we got is Donald Trump met with what is known as the Galactic Federation. Don't know what that means. I'd like to know. And Donald Trump was going to announce prior to the 2020 election the existence of extraterrestrials. And that was going to seal his deal to win him re-election. He prepped it with the July 16th interview with Don Jr., where they brought up Roswell and they talked about aliens for a minute. That got denied by those that claim to be the Galactic Federation. They said humanity just really isn't ready. They said something around the lines, when you understand consciousness, then you'll be ready. The rumor is, from what you were just saying, from what I've gotten from it, is that whoever's president in October, Kamala, whoever it is going to announce the existence of extraterrestrial life, because they believe that that will seal the deal to win them re-election.
I don't know about that aspect of it. I do know that there is preparations with the Vatican about October 18th. Now, what those preparations are going to look like, I don't, that's to be seen. But I do know that they ended up going to IC back in May or June of this year, and basically there was another time in our history that they did this. It was in October of 1978 that the Vatican went to our IC and briefed them on a lot of this UFO type stuff. But
well, you know what happened in that month, right? That month and that year?
I don't.
That was the wow signal.
Say again?
That was the wow signal. So the wow signal that was received by massive telescopes around the globe. It was a signal that was believed to have come from an advanced civilization, but they're saying it was just noise. But it's known as the wow signal. So in the Netflix show that was just aired, they actually utilize it as part of their storyline. But it's called the wow signal. Happened in and around that time frame.
Well, see, I didn't know that. I just knew that they did brief our intelligence agencies during that time in 1978, and I was really hoping that you or some other UFO people that study this stuff could find answers, because I didn't know. I was just repeating, everything that was told to me back in May. But I found it really interesting that the Vatican did it again this year, and they had a map with circles around it with a lot of locations, and I'm assuming that those pinpoint locations are where they may have like mass sightings. Now, I don't know that to be absolutely true. I'm just using logic and reasoning. By looking at that map, there was nothing on that map that said that would have massive sightings, but it just makes sense. Now,
so there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Well, I think that our military has been taking and preparing for this. That it's no secret, and it's not. I'm not even saying anything out of the ordinary. This is public information. Came out into the public. Came out in Congress. Our military has been baiting these UFOs since 2004. They've learned how to bait them into existence, so to speak, or bait them into the areas of these warships. They would take these warships out with nuclear warheads and bait these objects to come into their view. So I think that what could, honestly, Josh, what could take place is the military, the deep state taking and utilizing the military to try to have a massive sighting, where the military is taking and videotaping it, and it's a government sort of video where they could release to the public in real time. And you're right, they could try to utilize that Exactly.
Close
I know
Encounters of the Third Kind.
it sounds so insane, but man, I mean, I could just see it happening. I truly could.
So you're just talking there about baiting. Um, Specifically, what Game Tech is talking about is these phenomena, Tic Tac UFOs, and these types that look like cylindrical drones and stuff that are seen flying over military installations, proving grounds, as well as over the ocean. I have from a very, very good source that those ones specifically are Earth based. Those ones are ancient, that they are controlled by artificial intelligence. They know exactly how to get them out of the water. They know exactly how to call them up. They've captured a few of them. They have a defense mechanism. And that in the 1930s and the 1940s, it was these things that shot down multiple UFOs, including the ones over Roswell, Alamogordo, New Mexico, and one in Italy. It was these things that shot them down because they are an Earth defense system built by an ancient civilization that is now not here. But it is the remnants of them. And this is one of the ways that they knew to start looking for this. The Nazis started looking for this remnants of this ancient civilization, and they found a lot of stuff. But I have that from a very good source, very similar to your source that we've talked about before, kind of the same person who gave us those informations, that what they're realizing and why they're not saying anything right now and why they're trying to cover all this up in congressional investigations. You notice all that stuff stopped. Why they're trying to cover that up in congressional investigations is because where that leads with all of the military DOD video evidence is that these ones are not extraterrestrial. They are human made. They're just very, very, very old. There's also an aspect that falls in here, the sense of time travelers. We've talked about this before, but I don't think it's time travelers from 50,000 years in the future. I think it's 50,000 years in the past, but that's just my perspective on that. So we are absolutely going to see this type of stuff in our lifetimes. In the next 6 months, you are going to see some massive information drop on these topics. I think that we're getting to that point, Game Tech, where it's all going to be revealed.
Well, let me tell you. I think I'm pretty certain I sent you the screenshots. If not, I'll do that tonight. But you know, I had a conversation with James Fox just a few months ago, and I was asking him, I was like, "Where are we at?" You know, just in generality, just where are we at with everything. And he said everything's on pause. Everyone's spooked right now. And I'm paraphrasing. I'll let you read in private. I'll let you read this conversation because I really think it's important for your reporting. I think that you need to see and verify our conversation. But and I normally don't do that, Josh. You know that I don't reveal people's conversations with me at all. But I think that with the importance of this, James was just telling me, there's been some additional threats that are very serious, and and he was kind of warning me, just to put everything on pause. Don't talk about the UFO stuff right now. Don't come out with anything. And of course, I didn't listen to him, which I think have pissed him off. But he even went and canceled Joe Rogan. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal.
You go on Joe Rogan and you immediately your income is substantially higher because of that presence. He's like the Steven Spielberg of podcasts, basically. So with James Fox doing that, when he told me that, he was like, "I canceled Joe Rogan." I said, "Are you freaking kidding me, dude?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You're that skittish right now?" And he said, "Yeah, it's a very serious thing." Everyone's walking on eggshells right now. And so, and this was just a few months ago. So everything is still on pause. And I think that we're waiting for, I think what everyone's waiting for is the October date. I think that that's the next step of disclosure. And I think we're really close now to a full release of everything. And I think that maybe Trump will be doing that in January, February. At least I hope. So.
Well, I think it's possible. I think that Donald Trump absolutely will, because he gave Congress 180 days to release everything they did. Then he was obviously not in power, and they didn't do it. And so once he gets back in, he's going to mandate it. Like, this needs to get fucking released or heads are going to fly. And he's going to go after those deep state actors, the Nessun Dorma, that have been hiding it for a long time. So we could see a lot of that coming out under the Trump administration. But I think that the Democrats are going to play this first, and they're going to try to play it first. But we'll see.
Could you pull up the post that I had recently? It had it went viral. It went viral, and a lot of people started parroting what I said. Even Tom DeLonge parroted basically what I said about a month later.
Which post
really
was it?
It was a post about aliens being demons, aliens being evil entities. Now, that was, it really kind of, I don't think it pissed James off, but I think that it kind of bothered him because, he's so passionate about it. He's been doing this for over 30 years, 40 years, basically his whole life. And, he has just, he's an optimistic sort of person. And I can appreciate that. But the consensus, Josh, I'm just reporting what the consensus is. The congressional members that were in that meeting over a year and a half ago with these whistleblowers of this retrieval program, and who saw the video of the extraterrestrial, they've come even to the consensus that there's an evil presence amongst the majority of these extraterrestrials, and we need to get to the bottom of it. And that's kind of what I was trying to put out there on X, and it got a lot of attention. And I just want to make sure that the record is straight with this. I'm not suggesting that there isn't some good entities out there, like a Gabriel or a Michael. Hint, hint. But I am suggesting that what we are seeing right now, the consensus amongst the scientists and our military and even congressional members, is that a lot of these entities do have an evil presence about them. And
so, do you know who Paul Hellyer was? And I'm looking for that post, but do you remember who Paul Hellyer was?
This name does ring a bell. And on the post, all you have to do is just type in GTP_podcast alien evil, and it should come up.
Well, Paul Hellyer was the former defense minister of Canada. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're ringing a bell now. Yes.
Okay. So, former defense minister of Canada. He came out and said that there was 9 races. He was told by the Secretary of Defense, I think this is McNamara back in the 60s, that there was 4 types of aliens. 9 types of aliens that the U.S. government in the 1960s had contact with. out of that 9, 3 of them they knew to be what we would consider to be evil, ill intention towards humanity, and that that the U.S. government had made deals with some of those ill-intended ones. 3 of them appeared to be very friendly, and then 3 of them looked at us like ants, like nothing. But I think that you're right that there is something very evil about some of these entities, whether they're interdimensional, extraterrestrial, crypto-terrestrial, whatever it might be. And I think that that might be an AI play. I think that it might be an invasion on this planet. I talked about that before, that it's potentially an invasion on our planet. But I think I found the post. The one about Tucker Carlson in it?
I don't think so. It's got over 1 million views. It's pretty long.
Yeah,
I don't remember
1.5 million views right here.
Let me yeah, if you could maximize that. Let me see. I know that James commented on it, and James's comment got a lot of traction as well. James was kind of salty. he was getting on to me.
They're demons to highly religious people, not to the rest of us.
Yeah, that's the post then.
Yeah, and so they are demons. That's the reason for the truth. And I agree with you on this, is that there is something evil and nefarious about some of them. And I think that is one of the reasons why a lot of this is still hidden. But I think that everything that's happening right now in front of us is all about all of that. I think that it's all about what that stuff is and what's going on.
Yeah, and Josh, when I made the post, I wasn't, I think that James was kind of disappointed that I took it that direction, but this was just a personal feeling of mine, and from everything that I've been seeing, and it doesn't mean that I'm correct. It just means that there are others that have a like mind like me, and I know that you have some differing opinions about even towards me. You have some differing opinions about all of this, and that's okay. And that's the whole point of this exercise, is to try to get people more involved in the conversation and try to, get the leading scientists that the smartest people in the world to get onto this topic and to figure this stuff out. Because if we figure, the more information and the more knowledge, the better for humanity. And me and you, we don't see eye to eye on everything, but we have conversations about this, and good conversations. We're never, we never antagonize each other. But I just think that we need to really mentally prepare for for something big to happen. And I know that the waiting and the doubtfulness is in your head, but trust. I'm telling you, trust Josh on this, guys. He's on top of it. There is an event. This is, and the thing of it is, it's not coming from Josh. It's coming from our intel community, guys. It's coming from the military. This information that he's passing on to you, that's where it's coming from. So if you don't believe him, believe the military, believe the IC, believe these globalist elites that are going to basically parrot the same exact thing that he's been saying for how long now? Over a year and a half.
And one of the biggest secrets that a lot of them are covering up right now, in my opinion, from what I've researched and found out and people have told me, and I do believe, is that the global elite for at least the last 50 years have reverse engineered various technologies, utilized that technology into advanced human technology to the point that it is at now, but done it at a slow drip. And they have scheduled the next 250 years of technology to be deployed that's going to earn them billions of dollars and keep all the contracts that they currently have. On the other hand, trillions, billions and trillions. On the other hand, they've also suppressed information, knowledge, and history of humanity, ancient technology on this planet. They've kept all this information from you about extraterrestrial races, about other planets in our galaxy, about other races in our galaxy, and they've visited them. They've had interexchange with them, and they've made some very evil deals with them. And the problem is when all that information comes out, those people who made those deals, those people who were in those positions, humanity's not going to treat them very kindly because of all of this. And that is one of the things they're most afraid of. We can look at them as overseers if we want, but at the end of the day, when humanity finds out the truth, these people will be dead. And I don't mean to be frank with that, but I will. These people will be dead for what the treason that they've done to humanity.
Right.
And it's coming out.
With all of this stuff, you know, the ancient technology that you're speaking of, I just want to give the audience kind of like a vivid picture. I'm not as eloquent as you when it comes to speaking, but think of it this way, guys. The flood, Noah's flood, prior to Noah's flood, the people, you know, we think of you know, history as the club and the caveman type people, and they lived really hard and all of that. But you've got to understand, look at the pyramids, look at all of the technology that, you know, all of the structures that was honestly made by technology that we have no clue about. You understand? We don't truly know exactly how the pyramids were created. These are all guesses, basically. And so you got to understand that people back then lived, what, 800, 900 years. And we had all of this technology prior to the flood being wiped out. All of this knowledge, all of the, you know, the smartest people in the world back then completely wiped out. And it was kind of like a reset. And so you've got to take that into consideration when you're thinking about this topic, is that at one time the world was completely different than what we actually think of it, you know. And these world governments suppress that type of information from us purposefully, and they put us into a dumbed down state with our education on purpose. And it's basically to eliminate any sort of I don't really know how to say it. It's basically to separate from God.
And any confirmation, any confirmation of separation from God and creator and spirituality and the nature of the universe. The true nature of the universe is that we're all conscious entities. We're all conscious beings. That the methodology on a lot of this technology and how it operates is it integrates with your consciousness, that they're consciously controlled, that your consciousness becomes the mainframe computer that operates a lot of these craft. That's why Dr. Stephen Greer can have these CE5 events and call them in with consciousness, because that's how they truly do operate. That's what the group of aliens that met with Trump meant by humanity doesn't understand the technology behind how all this operates. How it all operates is consciousness. Consciousness is the motivative factor within the universe, and humanity still thinks that it's something created by quantum tubes inside of our neurons because of the firing patterns that randomly came together because of a big explosion that happened 18 billion years ago. And it's all garbage and bullshit. And so they've lied to us, they've suppressed, and they continue to do that because that is the aspect of control that they have over us. But That time is coming to an end. The revolution is coming to an end. The fall of the old guard is in progress. And I want people to understand out there that they are getting their asses kicked so bad, that Donald Trump is winning so good. And I know it's hard to see sometimes, that they were willing to risk civil war, social unrest, and let it all go away. Kill Donald Trump. They wanted to destroy Donald Trump, take him out, and they were going to let us rise up so they could implement martial law and cancel the elections. That was the route that they just picked 2 weeks ago. That is critical to understand where they stand right now. So when Christopher Wray, the FBI director, says that there's going to be probably a terrorist attack in the next few weeks, there's probably going to be a terrorist attack in the United States in the next few weeks. And you can mark my words on that. It's going to happen, probably September 11th anniversary, something of that nature, especially with all the pro-Palestine, anti-Israel protests that are going on. Israel wants to get attention. They might send the Mossad over to New York City to do it again. I don't fucking know. But guys, I want you to go follow Game Tech over on X. That's x.com /GPT_podcast. x.com/GPT_podcast. Game, buddy. Thank you, bud. Appreciate you. It's been a while since we talked. I'm glad you came on with me.
It's always a pleasure, man. You're one of the best, and I appreciate all you do for us. Just keep doing it, brother. Keep doing it.
Keep on keeping on. For everybody else out there, socialredpill.com. We're going to do a Q&A. It'll start in about 15 minutes. I'm going to go over there. We'll be on for about an hour. Tomorrow, camping trip in Eureka, Missouri till Sunday. We'll have regular shows scheduled. This show and Fringe will not, but we'll be doing a whole bunch of streams. I'll set that all up for everybody. Let them know. Much love, respect. God bless. Take care. Have a great night. We'll see you guys next time. Good night.
Boone, that's impossible. Only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.